Some would call her the first friend of the big sister, or the big sister, to President Obama.
Valerie Jarrett is, don't you love that name? Valerie Jarrett. She is Senior Advisor and Assistant to the President for Intergovernmental Affairs and Public Engagement. She co-chaired the Obama-Biden Presidential Transition Team and was a Senior Advisor to his presidential campaign.
She is also the daughter of NABJ founder and past President Valerie Jarrett. NABJ, let's have a rousing welcome for White House Senior Advisor Valerie Jarrett.
Good evening, everyone. It is so exciting for me to be here. Stan and Michelle, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I am just delighted to be in the room full of some of our country's leading journalists and some of my dearest friends. I want to say a very special thank you to your president, Gregory Lee, for his leadership. How about a shout-out, round of applause for Gregory Lee? And of course, I want to acknowledge all the fine journalists who are being honored here this evening. I want to offer a special congratulations to Dwayne Wickham, my dear friend, who's receiving the 2012 Lifetime Achievement Award. Please, another round of applause for Dwayne. So now, just to correct the record, because you all are all in the press, Vernon was my father-in-law, one of the founding members of NABJ. And when he founded it, as I think only a few of you in this room would remember, there were 43 journalists who came together to create this organization designed to support black journalists and advocate for diversity in the media, reaching back and offering a helping hand to those who come after. So many journalists have told me, have shared with me, how Vernon mentored them along their career path, and it brought him so much joy to make the road a little smoother for those who followed, hopefully some of you in this room tonight. And if he were here this evening and he looked around and he saw all of you in this room when there were only 43 when they began, he would be so proud of how you have grown. And I have to say, on a personal note, he would get such a big kick out of his daughter-in-law, who he has known since I was in pigtails, having a chance to work for the President of the United States and be here to address you this evening. So today, nearly 37 years later, you carry on that important legacy. As individuals, you have distinguished yourself with hard work and keen insight. As a group, you are essential partners in mentoring and in nurturing our nation's conversation. And so on behalf of President Obama, I am so proud to be here to thank you for your dedication and your professionalism. And this evening, briefly, I'd like to discuss some of the reasons why I believe your work is more important than ever. This is a make or break moment for the middle class and for those folks who are trying so hard to get into the middle class, African Americans across our country, who are just striving so hard to get what the American dream is there to provide. Now, we all know that the challenges facing the black community did not begin in 2008 when the president was elected or when this last recession kicked in. For far too long, wages were flat and costs were going up. Too many Americans, particularly black Americans, over and over were trapped in the cycle of poverty. Over the last decade, we were told that if the wealthiest did really well, prosperity would trickle down. Well, you know what? From 2001 to 2008, we tried that theory. And guess what? It did not work. We saw the lowest job growth in a half a century. We went from surpluses to deficits. The typical family saw their income fall. And then came this worst recession since the Great Depression. Times were tough for everybody, but in the black community, we were especially hard hit. Faced with this crisis, President Obama, our president, took action, signing the Recovery Act alone, which kept 1.4 million African Americans out of poverty and created jobs and spurred economic growth. Today, we all know the unemployment rate is still too high and we have a long way to go, but American businesses have created more than 4 million jobs in the last 27 months, where we've had private sector job growth each and every month. The American auto industry, which one economist called one of the engines of the African-American middle class, is back on top. GM, Chrysler, Ford, all profitable. The President took additional steps to ensure that all Americans have a better shot at economic security. And he fought for education, including doubling Pell Grants and investing in early education and K-12 education and financing our HBCUs. He's fought to extend unemployment insurance 6 times. He's fought for the passage of the Affordable Care Act so that everyone has access to affordable health care. And he's fought for more fairness in our criminal justice system, including decreasing the sentencing disparities between crack and powder cocaine. He has launched strong programs such as Strong Cities, Strong Communities right here in New Orleans to help hard-hit communities rebuild. He's passed 18 separate tax cuts for small businesses, benefiting 1.9 million African-American owned businesses. He's implemented Making Homes Affordable, which helps tens of thousands of African-American families receive permanent mortgage modifications and bring down their interest rates. And our administration has assisted over 1 million Americans with rental costs, moving costs, and utility bills. And he did this despite historic levels of obstructionism from the Republicans in Congress. So the question facing us is simple. Which direction should our country go? On the one hand, the Republicans in Congress want us to try the same theory that didn't work for the last decade. Nearly every one of them voted for a budget that would cut taxes for the wealthy while cutting Medicare, Medicaid by 1/3 and ending Medicare as we know it, making drastic cuts to Pell Grants and Head Start. President Obama has proposed a different path. The President's plan would invest in education and clean energy and infrastructure and preserve the safety net for so many folks who are relying on it in these challenging times. And it would take half the money we save from ending the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and use it to do some nation building right here at home. And he would pay down the debt in a responsible way by asking the wealthiest Americans to pay their fair share. There's nothing wrong with that. There's going to be fierce disagreement over which path to take, and these debates will take place not just in Washington, but in town halls and family gatherings and ordinary conversation between friends and at the water cooler. That's a good thing, because every American has so much at stake right now. And it's a crucial moment, and we need you, outstanding journalists with integrity, more than ever. We need journalists who make people think and who are willing to inform about the decisions that are being made and who actively engage in our democracy. We need journalists who will connect the dots, look past the distractions, and make it clearer why all of us should care about the path we choose. It's hard work, but I know those of you in this room didn't get into journalism because you thought it was going to be easy. You got into it because you wanted a chance to make a difference through getting to the heart of the story. Each of you has that chance. Thank you very much.